Hey guys, Teresa here. Welcome back to my channel, Lost My Thread. I'm here today to chat with you about everything I made in the month of August. Whenever I do these videos, I always start off with the sewing updates, but then I also give a life update and a 2024 update. You can always use the chapters if you want to skip around. The sewing, I feel like I don't have as much to share because I have recently done a lot of sharing in my Clash of the Pattern series. And the main thing that I was sewing in the month of August were my shorts. So I have my Pietra shorts by Closet Core Patterns, and these in general I would say are a total win for me. They are flat front waist here and then elasticated waist at the back, which makes them really comfortable. They're very high-waisted, which I really like with the style of a lot of the things that I wear with it. Good roomy pocket here as well. These ones have a really beautiful finish, so they give you an option of a bias-bound waistband on the inside, which I think is just such a lovely detail. I will say I just gave these all a quick steam before I'm showing them to you, so they probably could do with a proper press, so don't judge them on any of the creases they had. I was just getting organized for this video. But I will say these shorts in general, I really like this color. It's a really interesting, unique color that I don't have a lot of in my wardrobe, but it goes with so many of the other things in my wardrobe. It's surprisingly versatile, and the style of these go with so many things, which you will have seen if you saw my Clash of the Patterns videos. If you didn't, by the way, I'll put a link up here and down in the description box to the playlist where you can watch me talking about all the shorts and what I like and don't like about them in much, much more detail. But in brief, these are definitely a winner in my wardrobe. Though we are getting out of the warmer seasons, I'm looking forward to having them again next spring and summer as well. And then these ones are the Dorian shorts by Seamwork. This has elastic on the side of the waistband here, but it's flat at the front, it's flat at the back waistband, and it has a full zipper fly here as well, so a functioning zipper fly. Always very awkward to do one-handed, but there you go. This one had option for a different lining for the pocket, so I went for a fun strawberry print lining on the inside there. You don't see the lining of the pocket when I'm wearing these shorts. These ones, I will say, the fit is not as good as they are with the Pietras. I think generally they're pretty good and they're definitely comfortable. The style is pretty good for me, but I generally don't like to show this elastic at the hip. I don't love the look of that, but these have been definitely getting somewhere, and another one that will be really great to have in the next spring and summer. And then these ones are the Palisade shorts by Papercut Patterns. These ones have just a panel at the front that's flat, and it's elasticated all the way around the back and to the front. These ones also have this really fun crossover pocket detail. Again, I know these could do with a better iron. I steamed them and they look better than they did before, but they're not perfect as they are. This one has a faux fly at the front. So this is a fake fly. It doesn't extend up to the waistband, so to me it just seems a little bit pointless, and I don't really love the style of that. These ones I would say are the baggiest, not the best fit. They're not my favorite pair of shorts. I think they're good for more of a casual look, and they're definitely super comfortable, but I probably wouldn't be wearing them if I wanted to be dressed up for more of a smarter look, which was what I was hoping for with these shorts. All of these, I should say, are made in the same fabric in different colorways. It's the Riviera Viscose Linen Blend from the fabric Godmother. Love this fabric to work with, love it to wear, love all the colors that it's available in. It's a winner of a fabric for me. I also had one kind of like mending repair type job this month. That is my Peppermint Pocket Skirt by Peppermint Magazine. This is also viscose linen fabric. Really do love this one. I've got it front to back. This is the front to show you guys. But the issue I was having is this waistband. It's quite a thick waistband. It's not top stitched down anywhere across here. And the front section had started really like curling up and rolling, and I was having to try and flatten it up every time I was wearing it. I did think that this channel that I'd made was maybe ever so slightly narrow in this section, which was why it was bunching up, but it was driving me crazy and putting me off wearing it. And so I decided, you know, I'm just gonna unpick this section of the waistband, snip out the portion of the waistband that's curling, replace it, and then just stitch it down into place and then create a channel that it's going to fit into. It worked really well. It wasn't very long to do. And when I pulled the original elastic out, you can see it is literally just like bent into this position from how long it's been sitting bent. So as much as I would try and flatten this out, it just inevitably wanted to curl like that. It definitely needed to be replaced. I'm on the fence about whether to top stitch around the top of this waistband. I'm hoping that because it's not now tighter than it needs to be on that channel, that it might just still sit nice and flat. If it looks like it's going to keep curling, I will do some top stitching, but I feel like that's a slightly sportier look. I like that flatness there, so I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. It's a good fix for now, and I'm back to wearing the skirt again that I had not been wearing as much, not been reaching for as much, and I really love the skirt, so I'm glad that it's more wearable again. So that is it as far as the finished sewing projects that I have, and I'll talk a little bit later about why I don't have quite so many to show you guys. But I do have a work in progress. So that is this Ashton top by Helen's Closet that I made. So I made this one, I think it was in May, using all fabric scraps. The idea is that this is the front and then this is the back, so different colors of blue and floral. This is daytime in the forest and this is nighttime in the forest in my vision of things. The issue I had with this is the fit was not great, particularly on the high bust area. So I really need to take this out. So I've undone these side seams completely. What I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add another section so that I can have a button placket going down each side, so that way it's easy for me to take on and off. I had intended to do that with the original design and forgot, and so I did an invisible zipper, which is just a little bit more awkward. But basically, if I need to add more space, I might as well. I also wasn't super happy with the bias binding finish on this edge, so I've undone the bias binding so that I can try and redo it and make that a little bit neater. I actually have more of this fabric. This is a Rifle Papercut cotton fabric. I have more, so I'm going to use that to create those side panels with the buttons on either side. I think it will be cute to do. I've just kind of run out of enthusiasm and momentum for this because the summer is leaving and I don't know how much I'm going to be wearing this in the autumn. I guess I could always wear it with like a cardigan over the top. I need to finish it though either way because I feel like if it's sitting around, I don't want it literally sitting until next spring or summer. I'm not somebody who usually has like ongoing whips hanging around, and I feel like if this doesn't get sorted soon, then it's just gonna make me sad. So I want to try and get this sorted as soon as possible, but I feel like it will definitely improve it and hopefully make it nice and wearable and a really cute top. And then my one other work in progress, which is like my biggest mammoth project, is my standing tall quilt, which I am in the process of quilting. So I'm doing my vertical rows of quilting and then I have some horizontal rows I'm going to do. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more vertical rows to do on the whole of this quilt, which has taken a long old time, and then the horizontal ones to do. In general, I love the way it's going. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm using a really fun quilting pattern on there. I think it's working really well. I think it's going to look especially good when I throw it in the wash. I will be giving updates on this when it's finished. I left my quilting foot on my sewing machine to show you guys I definitely am working on this quilt. I was late for my own deadline, so Sarah of Sew Sarasota and I were doing a quilt along for this quilt. This is a Cedar Quilt Co. free sewing pattern for this quilt. We were supposed to be revealing our quilt at the end of September. I failed to meet that deadline and I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I'm most of the way there and I'm really looking forward to having this finished quilt. I'm sure it will be done in September, but it's been a challenge. I feel like I may as well just lead into the life updates, which is why I have less sewing output, but also why I fell so far behind on this quilt. And that is that at the beginning of August, I threw my back out. I have never done that before. I've never had back issues. I've had shoulder problems. I've had wrist problems. I've even like sprained my ankle before. My back has always been a-okay. And I threw my back out. I had really bad pain on my lower back on one side. It was after a really busy, heavy day of carrying a heavy bag in and out of people's houses all day long. I know that was the reason. Too much heavy equipment. It's part of the job. I'm trying to work with the occupational health and physiotherapist to see what I can do to make it a bit easier for me so that I'm not going to be straining my back in the future. I have been working. I didn't really have much time off work, but it has impacted on my day-to-day. And definitely there were a good couple of weeks where I wasn't touching the sewing machine. I just wasn't able to do that kind of stuff. It was really aggravating my back. Now I will say my back is still just niggly and not quite right. So I am going to be, hopefully, like I said, I'm seeing a physiotherapist and occupational health next week through work, so that way I'll at least get the ball rolling about what I can do to improve things in the long term. In the short term though, it has dramatically improved from the beginning of August. I have been able to get back sewing again. I've been working on this quilt here and there for short periods of time. Between that and my wrist, honestly, I cannot quilt more than like 4 rows at a time, and it's just then I have to take a break. My wrist issues are still ongoing, having problems with my ulnar nerve on my hand and my wrist. I've had a couple of MRIs and I'm seeing my consultant again this month, so I'll be getting a little bit more of an update of what they think is going on, if they can figure out what is going on. I feel like that has definitely plateaued. The back is still improving, but yeah, guys, getting old, the body just kind of breaks down and it's no fun. I'm sure many of you can relate. On a positive note, I got some new glasses. I knew that I needed them because the other ones were definitely not quite right. I have an astigmatism and that was definitely getting worse. Though my nearsightedness, so I can see close, not so much far away, that has improved, but the astigmatism's gotten a bit worse, so hey. Trade one for the other. But I generally like my new glasses. If you guys remember the old ones, they were a little bit more bold, I guess. The new ones that I have now I feel like are a bit more subtle. I like them both, but I mainly am appreciating the new prescription. That suits me better. So these are definitely a nice bonus to have. I think they're a cute style. These are actually Liberty brand, which I did not intend. I just happened to like them. I thought that was quite fun. I don't think you can tell they're particularly Liberty apart from on the inside. Nobody can see it apart from me. It has this really cute floral pattern. I hope you guys can see. It's really pretty and bright and vibrant, and it's probably just not showing up on the camera, but anyway. New face. Always fun to get a new face. The other very fun thing we did that I've been really looking forward to is visiting my family up in Manchester. So I have a brother-in-law, sister-in-law, niece, and a dog who, it's not my dog, but it's their dog, who live up in Manchester. We've been wanting to get up and see them for a long time, and it was really fun to get to spend some time with them and also see a bit more of Manchester. We have been up to visit them quite a few times, but we tend to stay in the local area in the small suburb that they live in that's outside of Manchester itself. I've been in the city once when my sister-in-law ran the marathon, and we went to go cheer her on at the finish line, which was nice, but it was definitely not really getting to explore the city. And so it was fun to actually get to see a bit more of Manchester itself. We went to the Manchester Art Gallery, which is a really cool art gallery, really quite a nice range of things. There was some more classical, more modern stuff. I tend to personally prefer more of like modern art, abstract stuff, but there was a whole range of things, really cool things. They actually had like a fashion room, and there was a lot of cool things in there, but my favorite was they showed what is sort of the understructure of an evening gown. So they showed a finished evening gown, and then also all of the elements that go into it with like the shaping and the boning and the tulle skirt to give volume. It was a super cool thing to see. It was this nice little mini model they had of it where you could rotate and see like half of it has the finished dress and the other half has just kind of what's underneath. I thought that was a really cool way to demonstrate for people who are not aware of fashion. But even those of us who sew, it was really fun to get to see that kind of inside view. The city itself, I would say, was a pretty cool city. There was a lot of old industrial type buildings just alongside new modern buildings. It was a really interesting mix. I feel like everyone was generally in a pretty good mood, and I think that was in part that we happened to go coincidentally at Pride weekend. And with Pride going on, there was a lot of people in very good moods, lots of people dressing in really colorful, outrageous clothes and colors, which was really fun to see. And we also went to this cool place called Arcade Club. So Arcade Club is like the best video game arcade that you can dream of. It had 4 or maybe even 5 floors of different video games, and each floor has kind of like a theme of a style of video game. Most of them have like a bar on every level where you can get drinks and you can get food. In the daytime, it's like family friendly, and then in the evenings, it's like 18 and over, so for like drinking age and over. But we went during the daytime so that my niece could come along with us, and it was really cool to go. I would say I like playing video games, but I'm not like mega into video games, but it was really fun to see a lot of the old games that I used to play with my brother and sister. So the floor that I liked the best was the top floor, which my young niece and her friends call the boomer floor, which I would argue is the Gen X floor, but whatever, that's fine. We're not going to be splitting hairs. But that was a lot of the like old school video games I used to play in like the 80s and the early 90s. It was really fun to get to play a lot of those games again. My favorites, I will say in general, are usually ones that are like a 2-player you can play with somebody else. But it was a really fun place to go. Highly recommend if you are in Manchester, specifically more like Ramsbottom area, which is where my in-laws live. Really fun place. I would love to go in the evening as well. It probably has a bit of a different atmosphere without all the kids all running and screaming, but it was really fun, I think, for the whole family in the daytime. And that is going to bring me right on to my 24 for 2024. Anyone who's not familiar, just briefly, it is a list of 24 things I'm planning to do in 2024. I'm working through the list. Some will be crossed off more right at the end, but in general, I've made decent progress. I'll pop a link to the video where you can read more about or watch more about that. It'll be down in the description box as well. But on here I have number 23, explore more of the North with family up in Manchester. So definitely exploring Manchester itself, I would say definitely counts. Going to see some places that I've never seen before. That one is now crossed off. I have also moved on to volume 3 of my haiku book. So this is Summer and Autumn. These are translated haiku by R.H. Blythe. Absolutely love these books. I've got a couple of haiku from this book that I'll be putting down for you to check out. And I also wanted to show you guys, I did some pottery in September and I finally got my pot back, which is basically just a tiny, teeny little bowl. And I've decided to use it to store sewing things. I feel like if I try and tip it, is it all gonna fall out? Maybe. But what I'm putting inside here is the different sewing machine feet that I might be wanting during a project. And I feel like it's just the right size for that. I've also got like a spare bobbin if my bobbin were to run out for the project that I'm working on. My project is the quilt. I'm not going to be using these right now, but maybe when I'm doing the binding later on, I might be reaching for some of these feet. But yeah, my little bowl here, it is super chunky. It is absolutely not perfect, but I love it very, very much. It's really fun, and it's definitely a nice thing to have as a little reminder of that fun day that I had. My friend who did this pottery session with me, who is an absolute natural, Izzy, she has actually signed up now for like a longer, I think it's like a 6 or even 12-week course. She's absolutely loving it. So it's something that I would love to experiment more with in the future, but it was one of my 24 for 2024 to have a go at throwing on the pottery wheel, and I'm so glad that I did, and this is now going to live in my sewing space. And that is my short and sweet August makes video. I think September will have a little bit more going on now that I'm feeling a bit more up to it physically. As always, please do give me a like if you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel if you want to see upcoming videos. I'll be back again very soon, and I hope to see you there. Bye!